Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then welcome. My name is Allie, and in this video, we are going to be doing some bookshelf styling. So if you've been following me, especially over the past few weeks, you know that I have been waiting on some bookshelves to arrive, and they finally came. And I am so excited. They look so good. They are exactly how I pictured them. And I really feel like they made our entire living room come together. Somehow it just made it feel so much more cozy. I love that I now have a place to style my items, change things out seasonally, and to really just enjoy in our living space. Having the bookcases has really warmed up the space for me, so I'm excited to bring you guys along as I decorate them. I'm going to be sharing with you step by step exactly how I do it, what my thought process is, how you can recreate the same look at home, whether you have a single bookcase or a larger setup like mine here, or maybe even if you just have one or two open shelves that you want to style, you'll be able to use the tips that I give you in this video to style your bookshelves no matter what. So at the start, I'm going to first take you through the items that I have and just kind of break it down for you and give you an idea of the categories of items. This will help make it easier when you're styling shelves at home to know what types of items you can include that tend to go really well together. But ultimately, this is your space. These are your shelves. So you want to decorate them in a way that's meaningful to you with objects that are also meaningful to you. I will link everything down below for you that I can. And you guys might remember a couple weeks ago, I did a shop with me at Home Goods where I specifically went for items to style bookcases and open shelving. I'll link that for you down below so you can go back and watch it if you like. But I think this video will definitely help give you tons of inspiration and a lot of great ideas for styling your own bookshelves at home. If you like videos like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Make sure that you have your notifications turned on so that you never miss a video. And if you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. All right, so without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so this is how I had my main living space set up before the bookshelves came. So I'm taking the art off the walls and I'm going to be removing those sconces on either side. And I'm going to find other places in my home to add these items. I really do love those wall sconces. The items on top of the sofa table, I will most likely be using inside the new bookcases. And then I'm going to use that sofa table upstairs in our loft space. So now the first of the three bookcases are coming in. And the size is exactly how I had imagined it. Of course I measured, but you really kind of can't tell until you have something inside your space if it works or not, and I am in love with the scale of these. I had a moment of panic for a second there because the coloring of the interior of the shelves, like that back panel, is definitely a little more warm, a little more on the like reddish kind of orangish side, and I wasn't really sure if it would work in our living space. But then I took a big step back and I realized that it does pull colors from our dining table and our floors, so I think it's going to be great. Okay, so please excuse my mess here, but I wanted to just kind of give you an idea of the groups of items that I use and that I will be using today to style open shelving and these bookcases. So I have the group of vases in the back right here, and as you can see, I have different colors, different textures, and even different heights. And that's what you want to do when you're going to style shelving like this, is that you want a good variety so that it adds interest. Then back over here, I have a group of candles and candle holders. And these, again, I'm going to sort of sprinkle them throughout the bookcases. Some of them I might put together side by side to keep things cohesive, but I might also split some of them up. So the eye tends to like repetition. So if I can take one or two of the black ones, for example, and place them on one shelf up a little higher, and then maybe move down to another shelf on the other side and place the other one, that will kind of help tie things together and just really make things feel like they belong. Same goes for those three larger ones in the back. I'll probably pair maybe two of them together in one section and then move the other one to the other side just to help bring things together. Then you have art pieces like I have here. You want a good variety of art pieces depending on the size of your shelves, but I like to have some that are landscape orientation, like the bunny and like this longer one right here of the bridge. And then I like to have some that are portrait, like these two floral pieces here, and then this one back here, which I love. It's another DIY from my spring DIY video. I'll link it for you down below. I just wanted like more of a personal piece. And this one, I used an old book and I just made it look like one of those insect showcases. And I just think it's so interesting and unique. And it's got those gold pins on it, so it kind of helps to tie things in together with like the gold in the frames. Overall, I think it just brings a nice touch to it. but you definitely want a few different pieces of art to kind of assess what you have. And if you do like prints, by the way, I did an entire video dedicated to how to order and download and then print prints off of Etsy, which is what this little bunny guy is from. So I'll link that video down below for you too. It's easier than you think. And I like doing that because then you can always, when the next season comes around, download something new off of Etsy, get it printed, and it's just an easy swap out. Then I've got baskets in the back, as you can see there. Ignore my kids' hoverboards over there. But the baskets are always a great idea for open shelving. I've got some trays back here, some risers and some trays. And that's really always a good thing to have on hand as well, because sometimes you have an item that you really want in a specific area, but it just needs to be elevated a little bit. And that's what the risers are great for. And then the trays are great if you just want to kind of tie items together, make them feel cohesive. I love using trays for that reason, because you can take different items that normally wouldn't go together and just make them feel like they belong when you put them in a tray. Then back here, I have a couple of bookends, like this horse one and these stone ones that I picked up from Home Goods. And then I also have these sculptural items, like this tall one right here. I have this beautiful geode that my sister just gifted me for my birthday. I also have my magnifying glass that I grabbed from Target. I'll link everything down below for you that I can, by the way. I'm just showing you what I'm working with here. But think about what you have already in your home that kind of falls into these categories. I love the Star Pod. I'm definitely going to use that. Of course, you want books on your bookshelf. So think about the types of books that you might use. I love having coffee table style books like this one right here that just look really pretty. They're aesthetically pleasing and they'll look good on any shelf. And then if you have other books like this that maybe the jackets of the books don't really go with your decor, that's okay. I'll show you some tips and tricks how to make that work for you. I've got my butterfly cloches from my spring DIY video. These came out so awesome. I really cannot wait to style these. They're so pretty, and I think that they just make such an interesting statement on the bookcases. Again, I'll link that video for you down below. Then I've got this larger piece right here. So when you're styling bookcases, you want to think about how on some shelves you might want several different items, but you might have a shelf or two where you just have one longer item like this. And I think that's what I'll probably use this for, is I'll just use this as a single item on one of the shelves. And then lastly, I just have some boxes here and like some crystals. I think these would look really nice on top of a stack of books or just on the front of a shelf. This selenite wand, just pieces of interest. Again, go through what you already have and just try to put them in these groups and categories and see what fits. Boxes are also great for bookshelves too. I found this gorgeous herringbone one at Home Goods, and you can just put trinkets in there or really anything, or you can use the box as a riser. So the same way I showed you the wooden riser back there, you can use a box as a riser and just place something on it just to give it a little bit of a lift if you need a little bit more height. But overall, these are the categories that I'm working with today. So hopefully this helps you kind of assess what you have at home. And now I feel like I have a really good idea of what's in front of me, so I can get started decorating. So before I start bringing in my styling items, I'm just going to wipe down the shelves of the bookcase with my wood cleaner and just make sure that it's all ready. I did purchase the ladder that goes with the bookcase. So if that's something that you're thinking about, I highly recommend it. I think it just adds a really pretty architectural detail and complements the bookcases really nicely. And of course, you don't need to order all 3 of these. You can order just 1 or even 2. It all depends on the size of your space. So I'm going to start on the top left, and then I'm just going to kind of zig and zag my way around the bookcases, taking you guys with me as I style each shelf. So that first shelf, I added in a white vase that I picked up from my Home Goods Shop With Me. And then I have that topiary. I have a couple of those that I bought from World Market many, many years ago, and I always move them around my house in all different spaces. They just add a really nice pop of green. To the top shelf of the center bookcase, I'm adding in a larger vase, one that's a little bit taller. And it's good to remember that you want to play with different heights so that it adds interest to each of the shelves. So I made sure that this was a different height than the vase to the left. And now I just turn my books around and I put them in between these 2 stone bookends. It's a great trick if the spines of your books have different colors and they may not go with your decor, you can just flip them around. And now in the top shelf of the far right bookcase, I started with my butterfly insect shadow box, and now I'm just adding in that sculptural piece along with this smaller vase that I picked up from Hobby Lobby. And then since I have the larger jug vase that complements that one that I just added, I'm going to come down and add this one a little bit lower and to the left. And that begins to create that zigzag pattern. And to the right of that, I'm going to layer in some art. So layering in art, if you have two different art pieces, maybe different frames, different heights, you just kind of want to overlap one on top of the other. And now to the left of that shelf, I'm going in with this Etsy print that I downloaded in that Petal Lane frame. I think this one is so cute, and I really like how the white background just pops really nicely. I've turned this stack of books around as well, and then I'm just going to add in this sculptural piece that I love. Again, just adds a little bit of interest and another textural element to the bookcase. Now on this shelf, I'm adding in one of my favorite planters. I absolutely love this planter that I found at HomeGoods. It was a steal, and I just added in a nice pop of fresh green. And now since I have a lot of other elements that I've already started with, I think it's time to bring in a little flicker of light. So I'm adding in that candle holder. And then right next to that, I'm adding in this gorgeous planter that I found on Etsy. And now following that zigzag pattern method, I have two more of those candle holders, which I'll be placing on this shelf, which is across the bookcases and lower. So I've got the taller one there, and I'm pairing it with this smaller black jug vase. I like to sometimes have floral stems that just sort of cascade out and hang over this side and the edge of the bookcase shelf. So that's what I did there, and now I've got the smaller candle holder that I added to the right. So now that I have the top two rows and I've started on the third row already styled, I kind of just wanted to show you guys here a little bit of a pulled back view of how it's looking so far. And you can see that I started to create those zigzags already with vases and the candle holders. So you can use that zigzag pattern to go through the entire bookcase, like I'm kind of showing you here. And then you can also follow that same method when you're working within one panel of a bookcase, like for instance, the one on the left. So you'll have your larger zigzag and then your smaller one that's inside, if you're working with three of them like I am here. If you have a regular set of bookcases and shelves, you can still use that zigzag kind of pattern throughout. But overall, this is how it's looking so far. I'm very happy with it. I feel like I have a good start in terms of candles, artwork, vases, greenery, and textures. So let's keep going. Now this shelf is one of the shelves that is pretty much dead center. So I'm going to start by adding in a coffee table book. And you can see that I'm sliding the artwork over because I didn't want to have two of the same shapes stacked one on top of the other there between that shelf above it. So to the right, I've added my butterfly cloche from my spring DIYs video. It was one of my favorite things to make and so easy actually. So I'll link that for you down below. And then I've got my magnifying glass and my stone candle holder in front of it. Moving to the shelf to the right of that, I'm adding in a few more books with the spines turned to the back, and then my horse bookend here. And now this is a beautiful geode that my sister gave me for my birthday. It has really nice warm orange colors inside of it, but I love that the majority of it is white, so it pops really nicely. And now I have this stack of books with my family's name, which was a personal gift, and I felt like it needed a little bit of a lift, so I just went in and added that riser there, and now it feels balanced. And depth is something that you want to consider as well, so I'm sliding this geode back a little further. Moving down now, directly below, I'm adding in this Petal Lane frame. I think it's so pretty, and it really is just the perfect size. Next to that, I'm placing my Target taper candle holder, and then this string of beads that I picked up from HomeGoods, and I'm going to drape that front tassel over the front edge like I did with the other piece of floral on the other side. Now this is a very special piece. I got this one from HomeGoods and I filled it with regular Amazon filler, but then I have these gorgeous geodes that we picked up on a really special, meaningful family trip. When my daughter was in treatment for her leukemia, we got to go to a mountain home that is specifically for children in treatment. And in this home, which was just gorgeous, we found all these geodes that we were able to crack. And it was just such a really cool activity that we got to do, and my kids were so excited about it. And they've been sitting in my garage for a really long time, and we've been trying to find the best place to use them. So I love that I was able to fit them in this long dough bowl and that they can be right in the center of our living space. and just have a really special family memory inside the bookcases. To the left of that shelf, I'm going to start styling this one with this beautiful herringbone box and this little statue that my husband and I picked up on our honeymoon so many years ago. It's been sitting in my closet, so I'm just really excited to be able to bring them out. And I'm styling that with a little cascading succulent and a candle holder. Moving to the shelf directly below, I'm adding in this white jug vase, and then I'm going to continue that repetition with the other two candle holders that match the one above it and my star pod. And I really like the way that the wood and the white and the black and the candle holders just really contrast each other. Moving to the shelf to the right of that, I'm adding in another topiary like I did up top and this stack of books. And then I'm finishing this shelf off with one of the spring candles from my spring DIYs video and this cluster of quartz to sit on top of the books. You want to think in layers when you're styling, so you can have a stack of books and then layer something else on top of it, or maybe next to it, or even below it. Now to the right of that, I'm adding in this whitewashed wooden tray with handles. And then I have two of these planters that are different sizes, and I really like that green washed color in them. I have two very small, simple, succulent cascading stems, so I'm just adding one each here. And along the bottom, on the very bottom shelves, I'm just adding in these three baskets. And this is just a great catch-all and adds a nice level of symmetry and cohesiveness and just anchors everything to the bottom. Going in now, and I'm just seeing where I can add in a few things like that large selenite wand that I thought would add another layer to that bookcase. And then some candles here. I have these battery operated tea light holders. Now I'm turning on my other candles in all the different sections of the bookcases. I am in love with how they turned out. I think that they just look so beautiful, and they really just add such a gorgeous and cozy touch to our living space. I feel like this definitely transformed our living space in the best way possible. I'm going to be moving down each bookcase individually so you can see it from top to bottom, and then I'll be panning across each individual shelf. I had a friend come by and she saw these bookcases, and when she found out where I ordered them from and how much they were, she just could not believe it. She said that if I hadn't told her, she thought that they came from a place like Restoration Hardware or Pottery Barn, someplace like that. But these were so affordable, and they really just change our space so much in such a nice way. I decided at the last minute to add in the second butterfly cloche that I made. This one's on a taller pedestal, so I didn't think that it would fit, but then I realized that the top shelf is a little bit taller than the other ones, So I placed this on the very top shelf of the left bookcase, and I think that it just adds such a beautiful touch, and I love that it leans into that repetition with the other butterfly cloche that I have in the center bookcase a little bit toward the center. And then I went ahead and added back in the ladder. It's such a detail that's not necessary, but I really think that it adds a beautiful touch and just really completes the look. That's it for today, you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed this one. I hope that I was able to give you tons of ideas and inspiration for decorating and styling your own bookcases and open shelving that you might have in your own space. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think. And if you like content like this, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and make sure that you have your notifications turned on so that you never miss a video. Thanks again for being with me here today. I hope that you enjoyed this one, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.